shadows of betrayal in the quiet aftershock of battle. The human fleet gathered in a loose arc around Virtus Prime. The Horizon Hawk hovered at the center, its hull scuffed and scarred. Captain Mark paced the bridge, eyes flicking between the Yuspin, holomap, and damage reports. Around him, crews scrambled to repair shields and reroute power. Outside, the other warships drifted like wounded beasts, each carrying its own tale of fire and fury. Lieutenant Anna joined Mark at the map table. Her brow was tight with concern. Captain, Talon forces are pulling back toward their staging. Point, she said. But I've detected encrypted signals, something they don't want us to see. She tapped the map to reveal ghostly waypoints leading into the system's dark zone. Mark leaned forward. They're hiding something, he murmured. We must find out what. On the briefing deck, Lee stood before her fellow fighter pilots. Her voice was steady as she pointed to the Talon formations. We have a chance to strike the supply convoy before it escapes, she said. But we'll need a small team to infiltrate the lead cruiser and plant disruption charges. A murmur ran through the pilots. Lee met their eyes. I'll go. Engineer Malik moved among the corridors of the Horizon Hawk, inspecting the new stealth pod tucked in a maintenance bay. The pod was a narrow vessel, built for speed and silence. Malik gripped its hatch. You'll slip in, plant the charges, and slip out, he said to Lee. The pod uses magneto clamps to avoid detection. Just don't ask me how long it'll hold up under fire. Lee cracked a grin. Long enough? Later, in a quiet corner of the hangar, Raj and Mia checked their gear. Raj was tall and calm, with dark eyes that missed nothing. Mia was small but fierce, her hands steady as she loaded thermal detonators. Remember, Raj reminded her, we only get one shot. If we fail, the Talons will scramble and warn their fleet. Mia nodded. We'll stay low and move fast. At the pod's hatch, Lee helped Raj and Mia into their suits. The soft hiss of seals locking in reminded them of the dangers ahead. Lee double-checked the coordinates. Boarding corridor opens in 2 minutes, she said. Stay sharp. Raj tapped his chest-mounted light. Ready? Mia's voice was a whisper. Let's end this. Below on Virtus Prime, Governor Lena discovered signs of sabotage in the mining tunnels. A pressure valve had been rigged to explode, threatening to collapse a colony shaft. Lena called her security chief, Omar, to investigate. They want us. Focused on space, she said, so their agents can move freely. Omar frowned. We'll tighten patrols and find the mole. Lena's gaze hardened. Do whatever it takes. In the medical bay, Dr. Kim treated shell-shocked miners evacuated from the tunnels. She applied bandages with careful hands, offering calm words. You're safe now, she said, though her voice cracked. A young miner named Rico whispered, It wasn't an accident. Kim's eyes widened. Tell me everything. As Rico described masked figures slipping away, Kim realized the Talons had agents on the planet itself. High above, the stealth pod glided into the Talon cruiser's shadowy hull. Raj and Mia eased through the airlock, their boots silent on metal. Grates. Lee piloted the pod outside, keeping comms open. You're clear for 3 minutes, she whispered into the mic. Inside, corridors lay dark, lit only by flickering red lights. Raj held his breath. Stay close, he murmured. They planted charges along the fusion conduits, each device designed to disable the cruiser's power core. Mia worked quickly, sweat beading on her brow. Raj kept watch, ears straining for footsteps. Suddenly, a hatch hissed open. 2 Talon guards strode into view, weapons raised. Mia froze. Raj signaled her to duck behind a crate. The guards passed. Unaware, Raj exhaled, voice low. That was too close. Mia's lips trembled. One more charge, then we go. Back on the Horizon Hawk, Mark watched the waypoint blinking on his map. He felt hope and dread in equal measure. The Talon fleet might soon learn of the charges if the boarding team failed. He turned to Anna. "Be ready to move the fleet in on my command." Anna saluted, standing by. As Mia pressed the final detonator, a low tremor shook the cruiser. Alarms wailed. Raj grabbed her hand. "Time to go." They raced back through the corridors, charges set to erupt in 30 seconds. Lee's voice crackled. "Pod inbound. Zero your thrusters." Mia kicked open the door as the first blast rocked the hull. Corridors burst into flame behind them. Raj pulled Mia into the pod, and Lee sealed the hatch just as the cruiser shuddered with explosions in the sudden silence. Lee guided the pod away. Through the viewport, they watched the Talon cruiser's engines flare and die. Smoke billowed from its sides as human fighters swarmed in. Mark allowed himself a small smile. The Talon's shadow would soon be banished, but the war was only halfway won. The tide turns in. The wake of the cruiser's destruction, the human fleet surged forward. Captain Mark watched the holomap as Talon ships limped away, their formation broken. The Horizon Hawk cut through space with renewed purpose, its engines humming a steady rhythm. "They're retreating toward the Theta Nebula," Anna reported. "Their rear guard is weak." Mark nodded. "Prepare the flanking maneuver. Lee, take your fighters and hit their escort ships. Malik, keep our shields at full power." Below deck, Chief Engineer Malik adjusted the power nodes. Sparks danced on his console, but his hands moved with practiced ease. "Shields at 90%, Captain," he said. "We can hold this line." Up on the flight deck, Lee briefed her squadron. Their sleek fighters glowed under the hangar. "Lights. We strike hard and fast," she said. "Disrupt their flanks, then we push in for the kill." Raj and Mia checked their weapons. "Let's finish this," Raj said. Mia gripped her control stick. "For Earth." Meanwhile, on Virtus Prime, Governor Lena stood among the makeshift barricades in the capital's main plaza. The cities. Defenders miners turned fighters lined up behind improvised walls. Smoke curled from damaged buildings and railgun fire echoed overhead. Lena raised her voice so everyone could hear. "Our home is under threat, but we will not break." Her words carried weight. Omar, her security chief, marched beside her. He pointed at the city's damaged reactor tower. "They tried to destroy our water supply. We must secure the plant." Lena nodded. "I'll lead a team." Below the city, Dr. Kim worked in a field hospital tent. Every hour, more wounded arrived miners, soldiers, even sneaky Talon agents caught in the chaos. Rico, the young miner who had first warned of sabotage, helped Kim sort supplies. "What can I do, Doctor?" Rico asked. Kim smiled tiredly. "Stay here and care for the patients. Your courage saved lives today." Rico's eyes shone with determination. "I want to help more." "Tell me what to do." Kim placed a hand on Rico's shoulder. "Keep an eye on new arrivals. We suspect more saboteurs among them." Back in orbit, Lee's fighters darted around the Talon escorts. Plasma beams streaked across the void. Lee's voice crackled over comms. "They're splitting up. Focus fire on the cruiser at R6. A clock." Raj banked hard, snapping his fighter around the larger ship. Mia rolled in beside him, locking onto its engines. Together, they fired, and the cruiser shuddered as its engines flamed out. Shields flickered, then died. A bright bloom of debris marked its end. On the Horizon Hawk, Anna smiled. "Their flank is wide open." Mark gave the order. "All ships, fall in behind us. Let's close the net." A peaceful hum filled the bridge as the fleet fell into formation. Even the distant railgun thuds from Virtus Prime's surface seemed to cheer them on. The human line closed in like a lifting tide, pressing the Talon fleet deeper toward the Nebula's edge. But beneath the surface of Victory, a new threat stirred. In the reactor plant on Virtus Prime, Lena's team moved through corridors slick with coolant. Omar's scanners flared. "Movement ahead," he whispered. Lena slipped behind him as he raised his blaster. They found Ivan, the plant foreman, fiddling with control panels. His eyes widened when he saw them. I can explain," Ivan stammered. "They said they'd spare my family." Lena's voice was cold. "You set the valve to overload. Your family is safe now because we found you." Omar cuffed Ivan. Lena pressed a hand to her forehead. "They have agents everywhere." Above them, the reactor plant door slid open. Rico led a small squad of miners, tools in hand. "Dr. Kim said to help secure you," Rico said. She stood tall despite her young age. Lena offered a tight smile. "Good work. Let's fix this before more damage." In the field hospital, Kim watched as Rico guided the miners turned technicians in repairing the plant's damaged systems. Tubes and wires glowed with fresh energy. Within the hour, coolant flow resumed and lights flickered back on. The patients cheered. Kim wiped a tear. "You did it, Rico." Rico beamed. "We saved our home." Back in space, the human fleet reached the edge of the Theta Nebula. Dark gas swirled around the Talon remnants. Mark felt a chill. Nebula storms could blind sensors and swallow ships whole. "We can't let them vanish in there," he said. Anna checked her instruments. "I see their flagship hiding in the cloud's heart. It's bait." Lee's voice cut in. "Captain, my squad is ready. We can force them out." Mark weighed the risk. The flagship was the Talon's command center. Destroying it could end the war here, but if they lost fighters in the storm, it could give the Talons a second chance. He made his choice. Do it. Draw them out. Victory and dawn. The Horizon Hawk glowed in the morning light as the fleet gathered above. Virtus Prime. Captain Mark stood on the bridge one last time, his uniform crisp despite the battles his ship had seen. Around him, crews hummed with cautious relief. Sensors were silent. The Talon forces had fled or fallen. Now, only the gentle hum of engines and the distant calls of celebration reached his ears. Lieutenant Anna joined him, eyes bright. "Commander Raoul's flagship has vanished," she reported. "No life signs detected." She tapped her console. "All Talon vessels accounted for. They're either destroyed or in full retreat." Mark nodded, the weight of victory settling. Relay the message to Defense Command," he ordered. "Tell them the system is secure." Below decks, Chief Engineer Malik ran final diagnostics. Sparks flickered across his console as he checked structural integrity and shield matrix. "All systems green," he announced with a proud grin. "We took some hits, but she'll sail another day." Malik's shoulders relaxed for the first time in weeks. He thought of his friends on other ships who had fought and survived, and those who had not. He tapped a hand to the hull, whispering thanks to the old warhorse beneath him dot in the hangar. Lee reunited with Raj and Mia. They had returned the stealth shuttle, its hull scorched by the void's dark energy. Lee clasped their shoulders. "We did it," she said softly. Raj smiled, though fatigue lined his face. "We made sure no one else would wake that thing." Mia added, "And we saved Virtus Prime." Behind them, mechanics began repairing the shuttle, readying it for new missions. On Virtus Prime's surface, Governor Lena and Omar stood before the repaired reactor plant. Lights blinked across the power grid, illuminating the battered city below. Civilians cheered in the streets, tears mixing with dust on their faces. Lena's voice rang clear through a makeshift comms tower. "Today, we stand free." She raised her fist, and the crowd roared. Omar scanned the cheering miners, children waving flags he had never seen before. He felt hope bloom in his chest, not at the field hospital. Dr. Kim moved among the last of the wounded. Each patient smiled as she passed. Rico stood at the tent's entrance, handing out water and blankets. Kim placed a gentle hand on Rico's shoulder. "You were brave," she said. Rico shook her head shyly. "I was just helping." Kim leaned in. "You helped all of us." A distant horn sounded the fleet's final salute. Kim joined Rico outside. Together, they watched the sky as human warships wheeled in formation, their engines glowing like distant suns dot back on the Horizon Hawk. Mark activated the view screen. One by one, the fleet's captains appeared by hololink, sharing a moment of unity. Captain Aisha on the Lionheart spoke first. "We honor those who fell." Captain Reyes on the Stormbreaker added, "We vow to protect humanity's future." Each leader raised a hand in salute. Finally, Mark spoke. "Today, we show the galaxy our strength and our heart. No foe can break us. No darkness can bind us. Earth's might, our unity, will shine through the stars." A round of applause echoed across the fleet's COMMS dot. As the celebratory transmissions faded, Mark closed the link. He looked at Anna. "It's done." She smiled warmly. "Homeward, then?" He nodded. "Set course for Earth. We'll deliver the message and the survivors." On the bridge, the crew piped in the coordinates. The Horizon Hawk's engines roared to life, pushing the ship toward home. Below, Virtus Prime's surface glittered with renewed life. The scars of war would heal, but the story of courage would live forever. In the captain's quarters, Mark removed the medallion from his pocket and held it to his heart. He thought of his wife waiting on Earth, of the friends he had lost, and of those whose lives he had saved. He had challenged the void, faced betrayal, and fought impossible odds. Humanity had risen strong, unbroken, and free. As the stars stretched before him, Mark whispered to the void, "We are here, and we are unafraid."